The first major tournament of the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro circuit is this weekend. It's called ECT, and it's one of the 4 stops on the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro Tour that NRS is hosting. When it comes to the other 3, I think one is going to be in France, one is in Latin America, and the other one is to be decided, I'm pretty sure, but it'll be in North America, probably the USA. 250,000 is a lot of money, and of the 4 events, NRS is taking the best 3 placements from each player. So yeah, with everything we learned over the last month, today is exactly 1 month since Mortal Kombat released. We are tier listing the characters all in order. So yes, this will be an ordered list from bottom to top. Hey, if you're new here, you should subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100K by EVO next summer. That way I can do a big giveaway at EVO for anyone who attends, as well as some giveaways on the actual YouTube channel. It would just be really cool for 100K. I like how right away I have a controversial take as a Scorpion main, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw Sub-Zero in bottom 1. He is the worst character in the game. Now, I think it's really close between Sub and Scorpion. I know Sonic Fox said it was Scorpion, and I haven't really heard from Ninja Killa. Sub just doesn't have a lot of tools. He does have Mix, right, which Scorpion doesn't have, and you know what, fair enough. I think that does make him better than Scorpion in some ways, but what keeps Scorpion slightly better is that Sub-Zero doesn't quite have the same Cyrax synergy. He can definitely do better combos with Cyrax than he can with any other cameo, but Scorpion is truly carried out of bottom 1 because, yeah, you could build a whole bunch of meter through chip. You do like 10% chip damage for, you know, each attack that's blocked, which isn't even that great. I know people hear that and think that's amazing, but Baraka, you know, is getting 15 to 18%, I think, per, you know, chip sequence. So to all you Sub-Zero mains, I am sorry your character got gutted after the beta. Yeah, he's just a whole lot worse. I think he has things that make him more fun at the lower ranks because of mix-ups, so lower level players get hit, but I don't expect to see a single Sub-Zero compete at ECT. Next up, we've got Scorpion, and I do expect at least one player to run Scorpion at ECT. It's probably a losing battle, but I do think we will see at least one Scorpion go in and compete. No idea if the player will even make top 16, but I'm pretty sure there's at least one Scorpion main I know of attending. Scorpion is just really boring. I would say he's second worst, but his game plan is much more boring than Sub's. Like, if you want to choose a sucky character, I would probably choose Sub because he's more fun, even though he's slightly worse than Scorpion. Scorpion, you just literally have to sit there and, you know, play a blocking simulator. You know, you just make your opponent eat chip, back up, you know, kind of play it like Fujin MK11, keep the opponent away. If the opponent gets in on Scorpion, just use the chip into Cyrax, rinse and repeat. It's super boring. It's probably the most boring playstyle in the whole game because his mid is so trash. Yeah, he's second worst. Third worst is Natara, and Natara is a damage queen. She can get a whole ton of damage. The problem is, against pro players this weekend, I bet we'll see like one Natara, but the odds are the Natara will never open up the opponent to get any of that damage. I mean, just block overhead against this character and you're fine. She kind of has to strike throw you. And that's a big problem with these lower tiers. You'll see higher tier characters where if they're a strike throw character, their cameo can combo off of, you know, the throws. Natara cannot. Natara has like 3 strings, just block overhead. You're not going to get hit. And on top of that, you know, she doesn't even have good frames on any of those strings. Kind of like Scorpion. She's negative on anything. So if she goes for a cool setup, she's hoping to do a bit of chip, but eventually she'll just have to start blocking again and blocking mix-ups and blocking better chip damage than she even has. She has lower health, which means if you play somebody like Baraka Cyrax or, you know, Raiden Cyrax, just play the matchup patiently. You have more health and you have Cyrax to chip her out. You should 100% win because there's no reason you eat more chip than Natara does, and Natara can't mix you up. So you're not going to get, you know, hit very often. Yeah, she'll try and throw you, but good players are just gonna duck OS it, so yeah, she's bottom 3 for sure. Third worst character in the game. Fourth worst character in the game is Shao Kahn, and it's not because we have the axe glitch. I think some people didn't realize when I said, you know, Shao Kahn loses his axe, right, when you use Shujinko. It's not just that he has to play without the axe in that stance, because that stance is really good. Shao Kahn can't use any more special moves. It just stops all special moves from being input. It's a complete glitch. So I should have made that more clear. So with that glitch going around, obviously he's bad, but even if that glitch didn't exist, Shao Kahn's super fake. I'm not getting hit by much anymore. He can have areas where it's all right, but his matchups just don't really serve him any purpose. Like, he definitely likes when he gets Motaro on screen and can shoot the fireballs down so he can go for his risky stuff. But still, you just sit there and block it. It's Baraka's turn again. He's going to chip you for 15% health if he doesn't mix you up and open you up. Xiao struggles a lot. I don't really know how I would buff him. You're going to have to ask the Xiao mains, but I don't find myself struggling, and I don't know if we'll even see a Xiao main at ECT, even though it is a bannable offense if you pull out Shujinko and stop Xiao from using his axe. To round out our bottom 5, we have Katana. I've kind of changed opinions on Katana, over the lifespan. At one point, I would have said bottom 3. At one point, I would have said bottom 10. But I think over the month, bottom 5 is a perfect place to put her. If you lose to a Katana, it's legitimately a skill issue. It's not hating or anything, but the Katana has to work so hard to win. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of fake setups. You just essentially don't know the matchup if you're thinking a lot of the things she's doing are real, because they're not. Just hold block, I promise. She has to work really hard, doesn't get a whole lot of damage for her openings, and on top of that, her combos aren't even that easy. Beta Katana would have been bottom 1, but currently she is bottom 5. There's really not much to write home about. She's kind of a boring character because, yeah, she has the trap setups that work on low-level players. It makes her look god tier, but nah, that's not happening to me. It's not happening to anybody like Sonic Fox or Ninja Killa at ECT. Katana's going bottom 5. If you're winning with Katana right now, I respect it. To start off our A tier, we have Havoc, and I had Havoc A+ after the first couple weeks of the game. Yeah, I don't know. Havoc is like the one example alongside Natara that NRS tries these health buffs and nerfs, and I know other fighting games do it, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't feel like Havoc having 1100 health or whatever he's got really benefits him, especially when cameos like Serena are giving characters 50 health anyways, plus monster damage. So Havoc's just really, really gimmicky. Like, at the highest level, just back up. The unblockable isn't going to hit you. He's going to call in that, red orb that spins around. He's going to try cool setups. Yeah, he was better when people didn't know the matchup. Like, I think that was my, hindsight is 2020, but after 2 weeks, a lot of us didn't truly know the matchup, and because not a lot of people are playing Havoc, I thought, oh, we know everything. Turns out we don't. Next up, bottom of A. You guys have heard my opinions on Reptile, that I think he's fine being low A. This is why Scorpion never got buffed in MK11. He's a beginner-friendly character. He can do almost everything in the game decent, so all of his stats are right at average for anything. So yeah, you're probably going to struggle to open people up. The mixes aren't absurd like Smokes or anything like that, or Baraka's. He gets a teleport, which is super standard. He gets invisibility, even though that invisibility is crushed by Smokes' invisibility, but he can still do cool setups. If you've seen Honeybee's crazy comeback in tournament, when his tournament life was on the line. He didn't go on to win it all, but his tournament life was on the line, and I witnessed, what Reptile can do. The problem is, you do need a lot of things to go right. He's just, he's a great character. If you're new to MK, right now, pick up Reptile. You got mix-ups that are kind of cheesy. You got the YOLO moves, like the YOLO teleport and the YOLO, low slide dash thingy. You can learn how to use invisibility, learn how to strike throw, learn how to do cool combos, like all sorts of combos, especially because the acid spitball thing, that is quite a unique way that combos launch. You usually don't see pop-ups that go that high, so you can learn a lot about air combos that way. I don't know, this character just feels like what I would recommend to teach you how to play the game. Kind of hot take, but next I'd put Tanya in A. Look at this. Cyrax crushes her. All the top tiers can essentially take her string, just get hit by it, but call Cyrax in the gap, and full combo punish Tanya, dude. Like, I feel so bad for you Tanya mains. Like, right now, it's probably not oppressive because it's just being talked about on Twitter right now, but give it 2 weeks, and I'm sorry. Rest in peace, your character. She's interesting. I think she's cool. I love the idea that she charges up her thing, and then she goes in for kind of like the old MKX style Tanya, where she had the staff and she'd jump on your head. I like that a lot. I just think with this gap and everyone playing Cyrax, Tanya won't be able to be really strong until Cyrax catches a much needed nerf. We'll talk about my opinion on a Cyrex nerf in another video. I have a pretty good idea that would just help balance the game a whole ton. Yeah, I'm leaving Tanya there. Next in A, I think I'm going Raikou. I know Raikou can work, and he's annoying, right? Like, Raikou has probably the most annoying playstyle in the game. He's super frustrating to fight against. I don't know how Raikou mains are having fun. I respect you, and I get, you know, you might be a grappler type and all that. He's just not that fun. He has a really gimmicky game plan, which is, you know, poke into projectile, chip you out, make you, you know, make stupid mistakes. The problem he has, why he can't go any higher, is somehow his down 4 is supposed to jail into his 2-1, I believe. It's some sort of down 4 jailing. It just doesn't work on some characters. It just whiffs straight up. Yeah, his hitbox needs a slight change because that needs to jail. Because again, your mind game is down 4 into your projectile or down 4 into jailing, stuff like that. And then his command grab, I just think he's strong, but he's got to go in A for me. Next in A, we have Li Mei. And I think this will round out my A, so I'm going to throw Li Mei at the very top. I think Li Mei is cheap. I think if you're a low-level player, you think Li Mei is like S+++++ tier, because she gets crazy plus frames that launch if you don't know how to interrupt the gap. She gets an overhead and low combo starter, the overhead being almost unreactable if it isn't unreactable. The thing is, yeah, if you just block, you know, you could fuzzy it a little bit and then make sure you're interrupting her plus frames. A lot of characters can full combo out of Li Mei's plus frames. So definitely top of A, don't get me wrong. Because of the 50-50s and a lot of damage and a decent mid, she's definitely, you know, no character that couldn't win anything. Li Mei is like a standard good character. Like if you pick Li Mei, you're kind of going to have a lot of the tools that, you know, make it great in an online setting. I just think in an offline setting, a lot of her stuff becomes more reactable, more fake. You know, you can drop low, fuzzy guard the overhead. You're going to interrupt all the plus frames. And yeah, so she'll sit top of A. Let's start off lowest A+, in my opinion. And lowest A+ is Smoke. I think Smoke online is high A+, because again, you could go into a Kombat League set where it's 115 ping or 100 ping and you're forced to play it. It could be really, really difficult to counter a Smoke in Kombat League, but truthfully, in an offline setting where, yeah, there is now like an auto fuzzy guard essentially, or just like a way to block his overhead every single time while covering for the low, I think he's strong. He gets a lot of damage. You're going to get hit by stuff. His invisibility setups are absurd. He's a one-trick pony because if any of that gets blocked and you miss one single cancel, you are eating half your life bar from other members of the cast. So if you're a perfect Smoke player, right, you never mess up a single time. Say a robot was playing Smoke. Yeah, probably an S tier character. Next up, we're going to put Geras, and that's because out of all of Shujinko's matchups, Geras is his best one. So yeah, a good player is going to throw on Shujinko and not crush Geras. Geras still stands a chance, but yeah, he's definitely hard countered by that pick. There isn't an infinite or anything like that anymore. NRS patched that one. But yeah, Geras is just going to struggle against the highest level players. He's A+, and he would be top of A+ if this was solely based on online, because yeah, you're not going to run into a lot of Shujinko players. I bet most of you haven't even ran into a single Shujinko that wasn't just joking around doing it, like in Kombat League. Doubt most of you have even played one. So I don't know. I just think when, you know, anybody chooses Geras, he's going to get counterpicked really hard, because if you didn't know, in this tournament style, so loser can swap both main character and cameo, and then if the loser swaps, you know, their main character, the winner can still just swap cameo. The winner can't swap main character, but yeah, even a cameo swap after you won, kind of crazy, but those are the Pro Tour rules. So yeah, I'm just going to leave him an A+. He's kind of difficult to play. He needs a lot of things to go right. I think if you master Geras, he can win a tournament. He's really solid. Next up, we're going to do Sindel, and this doesn't even include the Infinite. I know I already went on that rant video, and I do apologize for that. You just have to bear with me. I was trying to record for hours, road to rank 1, and kept running into Sindel's. It was just really frustrating. It is a true Infinite, by the way. It's been officially banned by NRS Esports. What's weird is it won't be patched before the tournament. Basically, the ruling NRS decided is if you use the Sindel Infinite, or you use Shujinko and stop Xiao from picking back up his axe so he can't use special moves and stuff, the round is immediately forfeited, and the player who had that happen to them wins the round automatically. It's a forfeited round, so yeah, NRS did address it, it's just I want it hotfixed out of online already so I can comfortably play ranked. But even without the infinite, Sindel is really good. She synergizes so well with Sub-Zero cameo. Like, just get a little bit of a health lead with Sindel, just pop on the projectile resistance from Sub, and she can counter zone anybody. She's the instant air projectile, she has the low projectile. If you even try and get close to her, she has crazy range. Sindel goes through almost any armor with her back one, I believe it is, or maybe it's her stand one. I think it's her back one though, where she does like the multiple hair hits, like kind of at your midsection. So she breaks any armor, she has insane combos, she has mix-ups in her strings. She just plays the game very well at any point in the round. So she has the good comeback factor. If she's winning, it is tough to chase down a Sindel and get the life lead back. She can essentially time you out if she wants. If you haven't played against Sindel, yeah, she'll destroy you, 100%. She might be one of the biggest like one-sided characters if you have no idea what you're doing in the matchup, because everything looks like it hits overhead when it actually hits low. Everything will come at you a mile a minute, and she's safe on a lot of strings. So yeah, she's definitely A+. Oh yeah, I also wanted to say, I know the infinite happens because Sub-Zero freezes and then Sindel snap setups into, you know, the instant air jump. I explained it in the last video in the pinned comment how it actually works, but essentially, even if you don't go for the infinite right afterwards, you still get guaranteed snaps with Sub-Zero cameo. So yeah, all of a sudden she has fast, you know, cameo recharge. Next we got Rain. Rain is dirty. Rain is really dirty in the corner. Rain mid-screen is like lower A+. Rain in the corner, near S, so I think having him in upper A+ is, you know, a really good call. Yeah, you're guessing for everything you own when you are in the corner with Rain backing you up. And you can't even delay wake up. That was the original thought we all had, was like, maybe we just delay wake up against this character to stop like the overhead or the grab or, you know, any of the pressure from hitting. Not even true. Sonic Fox next day uploads a clip of just the Rain tech to stop delayed wake ups. It doesn't matter what you do. You're guessing for your entire health bar once Rain has you cornered. So A+, he's fun, he's tricky, he can counter zone decently well, you know, especially if he chooses sub cameo alongside, you know, he can get in that water orb. A really fun character. His cancels sometimes seem almost instant. I got grabbed out of a cancel yesterday that I swore was glitched. Like, I thought maybe the game just like the net code, it just went backwards a few frames and the Rain did grab me. No, straight up the quickest cancel into grab I have ever seen. Thought the game glitched. This character is really strong. Don't get cornered. Rain is the MKX Sub-Zero of this game. Next, we've got Shang Tsung. And Shang Tsung, I think, is going to be a sleeper pick because you don't see a lot of people playing Shang. And I think that's because we're going to witness a top-level player like, say, Ninja, Sonic, Rewind. I forget who else is attending. We're going to witness a top player just use Shang the entire tournament, because that player has spent all their time mastering all the other characters. So they've mastered Kenshi, Baraka, Raiden, Ashra, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, everything. They're gonna have mastered it all and all of a sudden make this character S tier, because if you didn't know, when you swap souls, you get more damage as Shang. Shang just, he doesn't have a whole lot, in my opinion, outside of the fact if you're a master with these other characters and you know how to play them better than other people, it just becomes a steamroll. So look for a sleeper Shang Tsung pick this weekend. I think it'll happen. And there is actually, out of all the non-S tier spots, I think there's a chance we see Shang more than any other character win it all. Next up, we have got Liu Kang, and Liu Kang's good. A+. He can outzone you, essentially, make it really annoying to get in on him. It's kind of the character, weirdly, old, you know, NRS zoning pros, like people like Sunio, who always used zoning characters in previous MK or NRS games. It's the one, you know, people go to because his cameo with Kung Lao is amazing. So low hat, if you didn't realize, recharges almost instantly. None of us are really sure why, because it's so good. It can grant plus frames in a whole bunch of situations. But on top of that, Liu Kang has some of the best fast buttons in the game. He doesn't have mids like that. He has like 5 or 6 high attacks. But the problem is, that is perfect for a strike throw character with ranged projectiles. Because if Liu Kang doesn't want to be in, sure enough, he could just zone you, you know, throw the low hat, make himself safe on things. But when you get in, he is going to make you have to guess on what you're going to do. Because if he grabs you, you're eating 30-some+% off a throw. It's the best strike throw meta I've ever seen. I think NRS really did a strike throw character right in this cameo system. I think NRS put a ton of time in realizing, okay, Liu Kang clearly strike throw with projectiles. How do we make that work super well? We'll give him really fast strings so that he can strike throw it, grab you, get his full combos, get out, zone you out. This character is good. Do not sleep on Liu Kang. It'll make the game unfun to play. He's probably good Liu Kang's top 3 least fun characters to play in my opinion. After like Kenshi and maybe Raiden, Cyrax. No, Ashura. So like 4th least fun character to play against. Yeah, I don't know. Next, we have Melina, and Melina is solid. Melina has, mixes in her strings that, make things definitely difficult because she can always cancel into the low Psy, and that she synergizes really well with Scorpion Cameo. So she has those strings where the second hit is low. Either one that hits you, you're getting full comboed. So she has kind of like a Scorpion MK11 style mix where the second hit is the mix. You're getting low, full comboed 50%, or she's calling in the overhead Scorpion, and again, you're eating near 50%. Character's really strong. She gets the YOLO factor as well. She's safe on way too much. Not really safe, but you can mash really easily with this character. Yeah, she's, I don't know. All of a sudden, I'm eating 50% combos against her, and I'm like, what just happened? And you just gain a whole bunch of bar. Melina, in every game where it was meter building, not regenerating, so MKX for example, Melina gains bar like at light speed. So she always has 2 bars to even use her projectile launch. Even that, I believe, is safe if you block it. So it's 2 hits, you block the initial, and then you block her, pouncing. The thing is, I think it's safe, I'm fairly sure, because I haven't been able to punish it, due to the fact that Melina just wasted 2 bars. However, yeah, she just regains them in a second. Character's nuts, tons of damage, tons of mix. To round out our A+, probably the character that was most misunderstood after 2 weeks of the game, Kung Lao. This character's a beast. This character has launching wake up armor, like wake up, armored launch. If it's blocked, leads into plus frames. Fully plus, Who would have guessed? Overhead low combos. An 18 frame overhead that combos, by the way, with certain cameos. I believe Goro does it, Sonya does it, and Lao cameo lets regular Kung Lao combo off the overhead. Really, really strong. Can play the game in a ton of different ways. The fact that his dive kick recovers instantly into either low poke or pressure is nuts, because his down 4 is, I think that's his down 4. I haven't, gone in and checked, but it's either his down 3 or down 4. Really great range to just instantly throw it out. He's good throw pressure. He's solid. He was a slept on pick. He launches on every touch. I don't know how, but he has like 8 launchers, it feels like. It's probably not that many, but like 4 or 5. Everything he does just launches me. I let go block 1 second. I'm in the air getting fully juggled. And yeah, so having a really quick overhead mix with a good low mix, helps him out a lot. Respect to this character. You Lao players are a different breed. You're sitting at the top of A+. Nobody realized how good this character would be after 2 weeks, but we've seen it now. I believe in Lao, okay? Don't come at me. It's really poetic that Melina and Lao are right next to each other. To start off S, I think I'm gonna go Baraka, and you might be like, wow, that's kind of low placement. Like, he'd be top 3. He's top 3 online. At any other level besides this tournament that we're about to be, seeing this weekend, he would be top 3. I think he's top 5. The problem with Baraka is he can be outmatched by anybody who can space him out. It's like his only weakness. His projectile is okay, but it's not great. So that'll be your biggest trick, is trying to get in. So a good player is going to make you work for it 100%. Plus the fact that Johnny does a decent job countering, both Kenshi and Baraka. I think Baraka would be the lowest tier, because we're about to talk about Ashura, but I think Ashura matches up really well into Baraka, which makes her a really strong top tier pick. If Ashura didn't match up well into Baraka, I would put Ashura lowest, but that's crucial. So Ashura would be next on my list, in the S tier. Ashura's interesting because she doesn't have the same amount of like 7-3 matchups like a Kenshi, Johnny, Raiden, or Cyrax or Baraka would. She doesn't have those, but it's like every matchup for Ashura plays the same. So a max like 6'4", she doesn't truly dominate any matchup. In fact, the characters like Scorpion actually match up decently into her compared to Baraka, which is really funny, being how bad Scorpion is. It's just, that's the thing though. Would you rather take a Baraka type character where, yeah, you 7-3 some of the cast, but then can be easily outspaced and you kind of have to work really hard against 5 of the characters? Or would you rather have Ashra, where if you're an Ashra main, you're probably pretty confident no matter what character your opponent picks. You have a very similar game plan. You don't have to change or deviate from that very much, which is definitely great peace of mind on Kombat League because it's blind picks. And in tournament, when you've flown all this way to a tournament, you're playing for big money and you just want to play your best character. So I'm going to put Ashra above Baraka for that reason. You know, she has crazy plus frames. She has great damage. She has like the instant air overhead. Plus, you know, the second hit low is kind of nuts. I don't know how I get hit by that low sometimes. Just very good. She can always cancel into +5 projectile. And then Baraka, I guess I didn't talk about him. Great mix, 50-50 overhead low combo starters that do at least 30%. Lows doing 50. Great mid, a double hitting mid somehow that feels like a low, but it's not. So hot take, hot take, hot take. And I know I am probably the biggest Kenshi complainer on the planet. I think if we're talking online, so it's still a tier list after all for everyone, I would put Kenshi 3rd place because I think Johnny counters Kenshi pretty hard. And I think Raiden Cyrax is just cheap. He doesn't have to think. You know, you're not going to run into anything as Raiden Cyrax where you have to worry at all. Kenshi, there are times where Kenshi is struggling. When Kenshi doesn't have Ghost, he's not nearly as good of a character. So be patient. Yeah, when he has Ghost, he's #1 character in the game. But Raiden Cyrax is definitely a different beast. I'm throwing Kenshi in 3rd. You guys all know the block pressure is insane. You're blocking for 15 seconds straight, guessing overhead low, like triple, quadruple mix-ups. Character's great. I think at any point he could go back to being #1, but I feel like I should be honest because I was a Kenshi hater thinking he was undisputed top 1. I'll put him 3rd because, yeah, Raiden and Johnny are pretty cheap with Cyrax. So, yeah, Kenshi with Ghost, better than those two, but I'll put him 3rd. Can I put like a tie for top 1 for 2 separate reasons? If you're running into Sonic Fox in this tournament, who I bet Sonic will main Kenshi, I think Johnny would be #1 because Johnny counters Kenshi pretty hard. Johnny has a 9-frame mid, a 10-frame mid, both full launch, has overhead lows, you know, has a parry that just parries through everything, which is why he's so good against Kenshi. He can just parry out of stuff. Essentially great buttons, great frames, can throw, can use Cyrax effectively, essentially create these like 100% setups where, you know, he nets you after using his hype, rebuilds all his hype meter, and then starts a new combo onto you where it's a guess into the rest of your health bar. Definitely a tie for 1. I think excels better against somebody like Kenshi and has the potential to be #1 in terms of his cheapness when he does get the correct, you know, or the opponent guesses wrong, essentially. Like when he lands that hit on your guess, top 1 in the game. But Raiden would tie me. I think this is the only one where I can't choose a 1 or 2. Raiden cannot do anything unsafe. He can control anywhere on screen with the teleport. He has overhead low, true overhead low mix-up. I know some people were saying second hit was the overhead. No, with Cyrax, he could just chop you down with the overhead and launch up with Cyrax. It's nuts. So he has true overhead low. He can just essentially always cancel into the bubble around him and call Cyrax, keep himself safe, do a whole ton of chip. There's like nothing you could do at all. This character is just ridiculously cheap. And when he opens you up, he's doing 50%. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. So he has projectiles too, which helps him out versus Johnny. I think Johnny just struggles a little bit more against zoners than, even though he does have the parry and stuff and the shadow kick. He's got decent armor that goes up into the air. So it's hard to meaty Raiden. So like characters that do double hits, right? Like say Sindel, where she double like hair flips you. Raiden counters that because Raiden jumps up into the air a bit for his armor. So the multiple Sindel hits don't land, don't break the armor. Raiden counters that. So I'm just going to keep these two tied. Anyways, let me know what you think of this tier list. Good luck to everyone competing this weekend. Have safe travels to and fro, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.